evening. It's Daryl Yates. I am the creator and founder of For Example. It's just an open discussion. The things we're going to talk about tonight is dealing with travel. And who better to have than Rosalind and Diane.
Hello.
I wouldn't went into more detail, but I got these instructions on what I should and shouldn't do. But listen, I'm going to say this. When I tell you I love these guys, I truly, truly do. We have been knowing each other since we all came together at Webster. We've been friends ever since. I promise you, if I don't talk to Roz is talking to Diane. If something's going on with Diane, Roz is letting me know, so on and so forth. So again, for me, I always try to explain to folks, when you're going to travel, and if you're going to travel with someone, make sure you have somebody that you enjoy and that you can travel with and with the same mentality. This is the experiences that we have had. We're not trying to tell you, we're not travel agents or anything of that nature. What we are talking about are things that we have done. We have traveled many places. Roz, name 3 places we have traveled.
Well, I named one. So Rome, Spain, Barcelona.
What was the one?
Spain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What was the one?
Yeah.
Well, you said one?
You said I named one.
Oh, I said Europe. I know that's broad, but Barcelona, Spain, Paris, France, Amsterdam, Prague, London,
Leiden,
Vienna.
Vienna, Venice, Venice.
Pompeii.
Toronto, yeah.
And the thing is that whenever we go out and travel, we always initially start off with this great plan, but we all have our own unique way of traveling, which goes back to the point of, if you're going to travel with somebody, know and understand everybody needs their space. Everybody has different ways of doing things, but at the same time, the overall goal is to have fun. We have traveled, like Roz just stated, to numerous different countries, and we have had a blast. At the same time, we have had some moments where, see, y'all laughing before I even get started.
People should understand. Here's another thing that people should understand. We stay together. So we don't all get 3 separate rooms. We're all together, hanging out.
Package deal.
Package deal. But we're not traveling the way people did when they were in high school. You know, we're adults, so we don't play. So we're staying in some nice places, but we travel and stay together. So Daryl's fortunate.
Now, hey, I have no problem.
Yes or no. Yes or no.
Well, that's true. That is true.
It's amazing how we would automatically go into our roles of expertise. And it doesn't, and I'm gonna bring this up, you can elaborate all you want, because even in Venice, Diane and I were heated because it started raining. Remember, we were gonna go into Hotel Stuckey. Started raining and we PO'd because it's pouring down raining, while somebody else on this panel was just enjoying the rain, laughing and giggling. And I'm like, what is so funny about this situation? To this day, I still don't understand.
It was Venice. We were in Venice and y'all were upset because it was raining. I'm like, it's raining on us in Venice.
It was pouring in Venice.
We were soaked, but it didn't matter. We were in Venice. I would be mad.
Getting off of a water taxi with luggage. Come on.
If we weren't saying, well, he was pulling the luggage. We were in Louis.
You know what I'm saying?
I would be mad if we were sitting out in the rain. But we're in Venice. It was awesome.
I get that to a certain degree, but that particular time, I was highly pissed. Like, oh my God, I can't believe that it's soaking I mean, to the point it was raining so hard where you can barely see. But I would also add too, once we got into the hotel, if he's listening or if he's watching, which I'm pretty sure he is, I'm still friends with Enrique. And we often communicate. He always say hi to you ladies. When I tell you, because I'm not a big drinker, but when I tell you he took care of me that whole entire weekend, great guy, great. And he made sure that everybody was well taken care of. So, you know, kudos to him. And I'm sure I'll reach out to him just to make sure that he actually is listening. But he always asks about you ladies. Now, what are some of the other, go ahead.
Before you say that, and that's really just another thing of when you are going to travel, just whether you're with your own group or with your family, reach out and, you know, make friends with the locals or make friends with other travelers, be safe, because we've made other friends with people that we've met during our travels. So, people that we, you know, especially with Facebook, you can keep up with folk that you might never see in person again, but you can keep up with their life.
And to this day, I forgot the young lady's name, so I hope she's listening.
Theodora.
But you are absolutely correct.
Hi, Theodora.
Anybody want to explain how we met? Did anybody?
What were we doing? We were on a tour to see Stonehenge.
Yeah. And remember, she was on the bus with us. She got off the bus with us as was Greg going to Stonehenge. And I don't know which one of you guys asked her, was she by herself? And she said yes.
No, I thought they paired her with us.
I don't remember that. I thought it was just us three.
Yeah.
No. And one of you guys asked her, was she with us? And from that point on, I think she said yes. She's like, yeah, I'm traveling alone. I said, will you come and hang? Well, we was like, come hang with us. She hung with us tough for the rest of that
and
tour.
Diane and I were making fun of Daryl. We, you know, for whatever the reason was, and she was just jumping around and making fun of.
Yeah, like she joined right on in. Didn't even know my name, but she joined in and cracking jokes. I'm like, okay, well, you good with it. And she always reaches out for birthdays to say hello and everything. So that's another connection. I forgot where she is exactly from. Again, I can't remember. But again, but again, she's an excellent painter, and she reaches out every now and then just to say hello, so on and so forth. So just to go back what you were saying, when you go and travel, again, I just want to reiterate, when you have travel buddies, you have people that you enjoy, make sure you're on the same wavelength as far as how you're going to travel. If you're a party person, you need to make sure you with party people. We not the partying type. We the culture type. We want to see what's going on. We like the culture. We want to learn about the culture. We want to see and do different things.
Eat good food.
Good food. It is nothing like eating food from a different country. I promise you, being in Italy, tasting real pasta, real
best food in the world.
And that's wine. Go ahead.
And one thing about when you are traveling abroad, try not to go to restaurants that are near the tourist attractions, because often it may not even be the locals. Find out whether it's from the hotel or from someone, find out where the places that the locals eat.
Right.
And that's when you get the best food. But yeah, if you go around the tourist spots and eat there, you're probably not going to even be eating anything.
Not going to not have the best option or the most authentic.
Exactly. And you're not going to get the best form of culture for that particular area, because that's one, and I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of the things is a must for me, is to go beyond the westernized restaurants. I love going to the locals and eating their foods and talking to them. It turns out that they are the best, most genuine, is that a word? Genuine? Most genuine.
Genuine.
Yeah, most genuine people. Genuine. hey, most genuine people that you will ever meet, because they want tourists to come and pay, and not pay, but go and eat in their establishments. Because a lot of them are just local folks, just trying to earn a living just like everybody else. So, Miss Diane, what would be the one place that we have traveled to that just stands out? That like
one place?
They're the one place, well, or you can pick more than one, but what is the one place that just stands out?
For good, that's hard to choose.
That's why I asked.
I don't know where I don't know. Like, to me, I think I want to say Venice, just because it's someplace that I never thought I would go. And actually having the experience of being in a gondola and having the what was it? A gondolier.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't really want to sing, so I guess the other people were singing. So, but I never thought that I would go there. But then when we talk about places that I never thought that I would enjoy as much, I would say Prague. That to me was a really the architecture, just the history. To me, it's a beautiful place, and I was sleeping on Prague, basically.
I think we all were. Ms. Ross?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, when Diane brought up Venice, of course, I love Venice.
I already know where you're going, but go ahead.
He knows where I'm going, because Venice had the most memorable experience in Venice that I've had anywhere. So remember, we were sailing or going down the Grand Canal, and a boat came by and they were playing Minnie Riperton's Loving You. And you get to the part where it's la 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 la. Anyway, I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but the other people in the gondoliers on the Grand Canal we were all doing the la 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 la. That part, and then when it got to the part where it was really high, it's like everyone just bursted out in laughter, because they knew none of us could hit that note. So you had to be there.
You caught that guy, right? You heard that, right? All right.
Yeah, I did. I'm gonna let her go with that.
I'll show it to y'all later. You had to be there for the experience, because it was a boat of Asian women.
Yes.
So women that, we were automatically assuming, how do they know Minnie Riperton?
Yes. Yes.
And it was just an awesome experience. Just one of those things that whenever I think about it, I smile, because it was hilarious. And again, we were on this gondola. It was beautiful weather in Venice. Everything was it was wonderful. But that was just one of the most memorable experiences that I've had to date, that puts a smile on my face every time.
And I agree. It was so amazing because it was so impromptu. It was like 5 or 6 gondolas out there. Everybody was in their own little world. We kind of singing with the guy that was working our gondola. But then, and when that one part hit out of nowhere, that whole entire boat. And then when they got done, everybody was just like, oh, yeah.
You were just laughing.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Absolutely amazing. I would say Venice was amazing for the simple fact that not only was the gondola something special, something amazing, the food was amazing, the architecture was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the genuineness of, I gotta write this down, the genuineness of the people around.
Daryl, what was that? I lost connection. Tell me where you were just talking about.
Venice.
Still Venice. Okay.
Yeah, still Venice. It was just amazing, where you just had the combo pack of the people there, the food, the wine, the experience we had in the world famous glass house. where we purchased some one-of-a-kind pieces, which was absolutely amazing. But the whole process, that's a whole nother story. And look, you see Diane's face, so we're not even gonna entertain that at all. But Roz and I just happened to take a long time to purchase our product. But again, we're gonna skip past that. But I would definitely say that was amazing. Barcelona was beautiful too.
You need to pack light,
Pack
Pack
light.
light.
especially if you're going on the train, because in some cases you'll need to like lift your luggage in the train station. So in London,
Mind the gap.
yeah, you have to mind the gap because the train isn't close to the platform. So you actually have to pick up your bags and then
Jump.
put them on the train. And then what's the other thing that we, oh,
They didn't
and
have
if you're
an
gonna,
elevator.
if you're
They
gonna
didn't have an
have,
elevator in London either.
yeah, no elevator.
That's correct.
Yeah, and then if you are in a sleeper car, if you have too much luggage, then you're going to be squished in and you're not going to be able to move around the room. You're just going to be in that same position until it's time.
I forgot about that one. And then the lady was, I guess our neighbor was pissed for whatever reason.
We were too noisy getting on the train.
And I'm like, lady, we trying to get in. We just got in. Please go back to you.
I got cussed out in some language because I was too noisy.
Wow.
So speaking of that, the other thing that's helpful is, and I know we do it normally, is we learn the basics. So like whatever country we're going to, we try to learn their language just so we know the basics. So you can ask for directions or you can ask certain things, but sometimes that's not enough.
And I would also highly recommend to understand what currency you're going to need. I personally like to buy a certain amount prior to the trip because oftentimes the banks will run out. And there's been a couple of times before I left out of the country, I didn't have the correct currency and I had to buy it at the airport, which sometimes it may be a little bit more expensive. But when you go to a different country, you don't know if they're getting over on you because you don't speak the language. And you personally, I just think it's better for you to purchase your currency, understand what currency you're going to use prior to you getting there, and understand the ratio. Like in Europe, it was, I think at one point in time, 57 cents to the dollar. Which is pretty high in comparison to Cuba, which was, I think, it like 20 cents to the dollar, give or take, when I went before. So just understand what you're getting into. Make sure your visa's on point. Again, most countries won't let you in. Again, this is all pre-pandemic, and I'm sure some of these rules may have changed, that if you have a passport that is within 6 months, they will not use it. They will not use it. Or if it's going to expire within 6 months, they will not use it, depending on which country you go to.
Yeah. And I think you have to, don't you have to have like at least one page left?
Yes,
if you're using a visa, you have to have at least one page left in the passport.
Correct.
Yeah, and Daryl, you talked about currency. You can also look at the exchange rates because it does change on a daily. So if you want to buy some, if you want to wait, you can wait. I wouldn't often wait too long because even if you get currency at a bank in your local state, sometimes they have to order it depending on what it is. And then also see if it's just better to have currency in small bills and use a card.
They have a currency card, yeah.
Right.
Your credit cards that don't have a foreign, the foreign exchange fee.
Yeah.
And be mindful of your phone as well. Oftentimes, my rule is when I'm out of the country, I try to use, I let folks know that I'm out of the country. But for the most part, I try to keep my phone to myself, and I use it strictly for a camera. Because oftentimes you you have to get a Sims card or the rates, because I've actually paid for a certain service. Once I got there, my phone didn't work. And then when I came back, I got charged like 3 times the amount of money, which took me another 3 or 4 months to get all that taken care of. And I still end up paying them in the long run. So just make sure your phone is on point. And things, again, over the last couple of years, I'm sure the phone services changed a little bit, but still make sure you check into it.
You could also get, like, I don't want to call it a burner phone, but I think we were in Barcelona, and I have a little phone that's an unlocked phone. It's very basic. And when we go to different countries, just buying a SIM card and just putting it on a phone, and you can just use it locally, but you can also call, international as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because you do want to, when you travel, I mean, the 3 of us obviously have, we're together, but make sure that your loved one or a friend has all of your contact information, your full itinerary, copies of your passport. There was something that I read a couple of weeks ago that I was like, wow, that is true, about even looking up whatever country you're going to, looking up the consulate or the U.S. embassy and making sure you have that number. And I was like, wow, I hadn't really thought about that.
We never did that.
No, we never had.
We should have.
Yeah,
we should have a couple times. Yeah, we should have.
I agree. And I watch Locked Up Abroad all the time, so that's a really good point. Just to think about that for whatever reason.
Something. Sorry, Daryl.
No, you're good.
Something else that we did, Roz, you talked about the itinerary, is how we built out our general itinerary to say, okay, on this day we want to go to the Vatican or wherever we're going to go, based on, because we've already researched it to say that it's closed on this day or it closes at this time. And so we kind of have a high level plan, but at the same time, we created an itinerary that we did give to our families before we left, that said, this is the day we're flying out. We're flying on this flight, and this is where we're staying these days. And then, after that, we're moving on to this place and this hotel. So.
And it makes a world of difference that people know, especially during this day and time, that people know where you are going to be at, especially if you probably not going to check in maybe every other day or something of that nature. People should know your itinerary. So that is extremely important. I know people want to get away, don't want to hear, but let somebody know where you are at, because you never know what may happen, especially during these times, during this pandemic, that sometimes they will close certain airports and you're not allowed to come back and you have to stay certain places. So just be mindful of all of that. Now, again, I know.
Can I just
say, and the time zone.
And the time zones. Jet lag is real. Jet lag is real.
Yeah, I wanted to say something because Diane brought up the Vatican, and another thing that's really important, that's so important for you to prepare and really do your research. This didn't happen on the trips with Diane and Daryl, but early on when I was traveling, I remember the first time I went to the Vatican, and there was a woman just crying because there's a dress code in the Vatican City.
Good point.
And she had on shorts and a sleeveless top, and they would not let her in. And she was crying like, but this is the only time I'm going to be here. And they just did not care. So just make sure that you look to see if, especially when you're visiting these churches,
yes.
Churches or just, mosques or whatever they might be, is there a dress code? And make sure that you plan accordingly. Like, okay, on this day, we need to make sure that we have this on, or we have to bring a particular item or whatever it might be. And just the other thing that I'll say about dress, and no American Eagle sweatshirts when you were traveling through.
See, we were doing so well. We were doing well. I have an American Eagles.
I love the United States of America. Hoodie.
But again, it's not like we don't stand out. So every time I would wear that, and I think the last couple of times I just wore it because I knew they was gonna say something. It's like, dude, I stand out. It doesn't matter where we go, they know we Americans.
Here we go.
Everywhere we go, it does not matter.
Wherever you are.
Don't matter where we are.
It's not true.
Kind of is.
Diane knows everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody. It doesn't matter what airport. It's a running bet. Every time we go, and I'll be damned, we have yet to lose. Every time we mention it, within a short period of time, somebody knows.
No, okay, so Amsterdam. We didn't know about this one. We didn't know there was a Diane connection with that one. We are in Amsterdam looking, and we look and we're like, is that Jennifer Lewis? So we see Jennifer Lewis. And there weren't a lot of Black folks there. So Jennifer Lewis sees a bunch of Black people looking at her. So she calls us over. Like, we're like, hey, Jennifer Lewis taking pictures, and Blackish Jennifer Lewis. And then of course,
Hollywood, yeah.
Diane knows, well, okay, I'm not going to say Diane knows Jennifer Lewis, but you kind of do.
I didn't know her at
but
the time. I knew her, I knew of her, and I knew her family. So I did go to school with some of the people in her family, and she was friends with my aunts and my uncles. So
we went all the way to Amsterdam, and once again, Diane knew somebody, some random person.
Always in the airport, somebody knew Miss Diane every single time. So
I didn't know anybody in Barcelona.
Oh, what
or in Paris. We can go down the list.
I'm sure at some point.
I'm sure at the airport or something. Sure it's a never fail. So that's neither.
It may not be in the country, but it was on the way to the country.
So every time that she's undefeated. So I would just say, with all this being said,
wait, but you all didn't say what your favorite foods were.
Oh,
so it's not real food. So
yes, go Roz. I know what you're gonna say. Yes.
You know what I'm gonna say? Because
gelato.
Me and my sweet tooth.
Yeah.
That
we walked a half a mile every night to get
gelato. There's a gelato place in Rome. There's a gelato place in Rome. It's near Vatican. That is excellent. I refuse to eat gelato in the United States. I refuse.
It's not the same.
No,
it's not. But I won't even try.
Well, I haven't found any that's the same.
Try it.
But there's a place in Florence too, that is really, really, really good too.
But that place there was excellent.
It was to the point. Did we go 3 times?
Like 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
We
at one point just got up, went back, took a nap, got up.
It was excellent. Absolutely, yes. It was
really good.
Yeah, it was really, really good. For me, all throughout Italy, their food was like, I'm a pizza guy. Their pizza, tomato sauce was just absolutely amazing. Their pasta was amazing. Just their food in general, just absolutely amazing. But I would also highly inform folks that they don't have large portions of food. Everything is in smaller portions. So you got to be mindful of that as well. No ice, no condiments. And we ran into that in Paris. They didn't provide ice or condiments. We had to really ask for it. But like I said, in Italy, the food was just excellent, from the pizza to the pasta, the shrimp, everything. A little bit of everything was excellent.
And what about the water? So when you order water, it's either, still or sparkling, right?
Yeah, you have to distinguish. And it's not water they put in the glass, it's bottled water. So just be mindful of that, which goes back to what was said earlier. Do your research before you go everywhere, before you go to any country. Your currency, dress code, what they eat, how they're eating, customs, all of that you have to be mindful about, because they will not bend their rules at all. If you don't have on appropriate clothes, you will not be allowed in, period. And if you go in expecting a little bit more food than what you thought, it's not going to work. Everything's in small portions.
You're gonna pay for it.
Right. So I have another tip that I just thought of, Daryl. When you were saying what do we do when we're planning for a trip? So typically when we've flown out, we fly out at night, and so we fly overnight. And I guess we've stayed up as long as possible. So when we get on that flight, we try to sleep from the time, after we have dinner, we try to sleep the entire flight so that when we arrive, when we get off the plane, we're ready to move because we're, based on the time zone. So if they're 7 hours ahead, if we arrive at 9 in the morning, then we need to keep ourselves busy as long as possible and try to stay up. Instead of just getting there, being tired, and then going to sleep. But if you're trying to acclimate yourself to their time zone, it's like, how we plan. We went to I don't know, we went on some tour when we first got there. We were like exhausted, but we pushed through until, we tried to stay up to like 7, and then we were like out.
Yeah.
Then after that, it was like we were able to adjust more easily to their time zone.
And to add on to that,
What'd you say, Ross?
No, I said that's a really good point. You're right.
And to add on to that, make sure you take a day of relaxation, because one of the mistakes we did in the beginning was we planned something every single day. And after a while, it was like, okay, we got to be here at 8, got to be there at 10, got to be there at 1. And before you know it, it's nighttime. Then we're like, well, we can't stay up too late because I get right back up, do another thing. Plan a day to where you just have nothing planned.
People watch.
People, that's amazing. I absolutely love that. Give yourself a moment to where you can just sit back and not do anything but people watch and enjoy yourself. One other thing I wanted to make sure, if you're buying flights, one of my biggest advice I would give is I have had the best success on purchasing flights on Tuesday mornings, meaning 11, 12, or 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I know some people are not up that early Tuesday mornings, and on Wednesdays, because that I've even heard some agents say those are the 2 days where a lot of people are not purchasing tickets, and when the tickets actually go on sale. I have found flights that were normally $1,800. I found some that were $900, half price. So I've really, really lucked up on some flights. So early Tuesday mornings, throughout the day on Tuesday, and Wednesdays are the best times.
And another thing, whether it be flights, travel insurance, it is worth and often it doesn't even cost a lot. No. But it's worth it. I was overseas and my grandmother died, and it was difficult to get back, but the travel insurance, there were some things I was able to, they were able to help me with that. So it's worth it, because you never know whether it's going to be a natural disaster or something that happens and you either need to cancel the rest of the trip, whatever it may be. So definitely spend that extra money, get travel insurance.
Well, ladies, I don't want, because we can sit here and talk for so many more hours just about our experiences and everything. I just want the people to just get a little snippet of the blessings I have to learn from these two young ladies. Again, we met at Webster. We met at Webster University, and that was in 2002 or 3, give or take. And I have counted on these ladies to be there for me for all these years, and they have been. I can truly call these ladies my friend. I would not have these ladies on my podcast if I didn't had trust in them, or definitely I wouldn't even be traveling with these ladies. And I've learned so much, and I am in total gratitude for you young ladies and your knowledge and plethora of experience. And people understand we all have traveled outside of this trio. But prior to that, I didn't understand the full nuances until I got with these two young ladies on understanding the importance of really, really planning and going through the process of traveling and understanding the importance of traveling. I highly recommend it. You can afford to travel if you plan for it. If you put a little bit down and plan for what you're going to do next year. And one of the other things I always say, you may have an idea in mind, but please don't ignore a place that is on sale, a particular country or a trip. Sometimes they have specials where it's 75% off. Like you can go to Egypt for 6 days. And I just saw this at one of the travel companies. You could have went to Egypt for 5 days for like $500. About 5 meals are included. That's pretty dang cheap. The flight going to cost you a little bit, but again, it's well worth it. Any final words for now regarding travel or just anything, any words of advice?
I guess I'll just say that it really is important to travel. Obviously, within the United States, that gives you a certain point of view, but traveling to different countries and seeing different cultures and meeting different people who you may never have, who you probably would have never met before, it does help to really expand your world knowledge. There might have been biases that you had towards people, or you thought, well, this particular people in this country are a certain way, and you really don't know until you actually get to meet them. When it all boils down to it, we're all the same. We're all the same. We all, want to take care of our families and want to try to live our best lives. And it is a blessing, and it's beautiful to be able to see how that manifests itself in other countries. So just to broaden your mind and expand your worldview. That's why, traveling specifically to other countries is so important.
Ms. Diane?
Well, I'll piggyback a little bit off of Roz. I think being open about traveling to different places, meeting different people, trying different foods, trying different activities. I think it adds more to life, because you can, it's like you can just learn so much. There's so much history. There's so much to learn. There's so much to see. And I just, like an example, like riding a bike through a country, right? I was like, I don't want to do that. But it's amazing because you see so many different things that you wouldn't have seen. And just like I said, just being open. So like after the first time, it's like, oh, so we're going to go bike riding in every place we visit, right? So it's like now we have a thing that, we can do every place we go, and then we get to see like the architecture, and you learning more about the neighborhoods and meeting different people and learning their customs and their traditions. And traveling for me has been amazing. It has opened up so many things and so many more questions, and I want more adventures, and I'm looking forward to our next adventure.
And it's coming. I will piggyback on what these lovely ladies have said as well. There's nothing like traveling. It's one thing to see it in a movie, see it in a book, or see pictures or something on the internet. But when you actually there in Notre Dame, when you go up where you see this plaque where they said the Hunchback of Notre Dame was there. Now, what's amazing is that that's no longer there because it burnt up. Was it last year before last? Or when you in Pompeii, where you can see where Mount Vesuvius destroyed that total area, but you see how the culture was prior to that. Or going to Majorca to a private beach, and one person out this group who has a tendency to just get up and leave just to go shopping and name would just get up and leave, which for whatever reason, that's what she does. That's a whole nother issue. But you get the opportunity. Don't shake your head now. You get the opportunity to go.
It was in Barcelona.
Whatever the place, it was in Majorca too. Yeah,
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah, it definitely. So you see, he spoke up. The whole traveling of understanding and listening to and just witnessing different cultures, you can't get any better than that. Me traveling to Egypt, it was such an amazing experience. I can talk for hours and you still won't understand. So I want you guys to get out of your comfort zone and go and do something that's on your bucket list and try something different. Jamaica, been there, great. Bahamas, been there, great. There are so many other countries out here. Just go and try it and see. Belize is a beautiful place. That I always tell folks that's a sleeper that nobody really wants to take advantage of because a lot of people haven't heard of it. But at the same time, go there. That place is absolutely beautiful. And when you go there, do something different. Don't just go there and just sit on the beach. That's great if you want to do it, take a day, but go hiking, go
Tubing.
yes, in a cave, go rappelling off a waterfall, go do something different. I promise you, you will feel so much better after you accomplish that because you have gotten out of your fear of doing something that you normally would not do. Ladies, again, I thank you for your time. I thank you for your friendship. I thank you for just being you. You guys don't understand how much I talk about you guys in such a glowing manner to my family, to my friends, how much you guys have been there during some of the toughest times throughout all these years. And I can definitely say that I can truly call you ladies friends. And I thank you for allowing me to be in your world, especially when we started traveling. But more so than any, just being there during my time of need. And even coming here today on my podcast, I know there was some anxiety, but you guys stuck it through. So just truly understand that I truly love you guys and just thank you. Thank you again. With that being said,
We love you too.
oh. With that being said, please, ladies and gentlemen, go travel and travel with some people who are in the same mindset that you are in. You will not regret it at all. With all that being said, until next time, thank you. Good night.
Right.